Yo, what's going on, coaches? It's your man Jay Immanuel back with a new episode of Multiply Your Sales. And yo, today y'all in for a treat, man. I got the king of increase, my man, the one and only Aundrae Gaskin with me. What's going on with you, bro?
What's up, my guy, man? It's been a pleasure, bro. Like, people don't even know this has been almost like a year in the making, man. So
yo, you know what they say about patience, baby.
Right.
Yo, and perfect timing too, man. I'm super excited. Before we dive in, one of the things I always like to do right at the top is to set the expectation for our listeners and our viewers and let them know who this episode is going to be best suited for. So if you're a coach and you're feeling stuck, you feeling discouraged, or you a coach and you struggling to attract new clients, I guarantee my man Aundrae is going to drop gems on you today, and you're going to want to listen to this from start to finish. With that in mind, man, I want to bring it right over to you, Aundrae. Why do you think so many coaches tend to struggle with getting discouraged or feeling unstuck?
Yeah, man, I think the biggest thing is just like a matter of identity, right? Like a lot of individuals that jump into this marketing space, this sales space, whatever the case may be, I think they don't always put enough gravity on the fact that they are making a major transition. Right.
Yeah.
They're making a transition, and this is not a knock. This is just an observation, right? They're making a transition from usually a 9 to 5. Some of them are still working a 9 to 5. And so the skill set necessary to be a successful employee is a little bit different from the skill set necessary to be able to grow a highly profitable business, right? Now, there are some transferable skills, right? But the biggest thing is seeing yourself not necessarily as an entrepreneur, not necessarily as an employee, but seeing yourself as a leader of people, right? Seeing yourself as someone that can move people without touching them, influential, all of those different things. And some of us suffer with that self-image, that identity issue. And so what happens is we get an example from the internet on how we should show up, how we should look, how we should sound, but we don't sound like ourselves, right? So I believe the very first thing to becoming an effective marketer, to becoming an effective business owner, is actually getting really familiar with your own self-identity. You know what I'm saying? And establishing and evolving your self-identity, because you can't consistently operate in a manner that is inconsistent with how you see yourself. Right. So we have to constantly, in my opinion, the main focus should be, who am I? Right. And how can I develop myself so that I can be a better leader? I can be a better business owner. I can be a better parent, a better son, a better daughter, a better husband, better wife. Right. If you focus on growing you, everything else around you, everything else that you touch, has no choice but to grow.
Right. And with that in mind, because you gave us a lot to unpack, and I just want to kind of look at it from your perspective, your journey, right? I'm assuming, and definitely point it out and be like, yo, you know what you've been, because you're making this assumption, but I'm assuming that your emphasis on the importance of us getting to know ourselves and who we are, that didn't necessarily, you didn't have that from the beginning. I'm assuming that's something that you've developed over time. Would that be an accurate assumption to make?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Bro. Like you're 100. You're batting 100% for assumptions so far.
Okay.
Right? So,
okay. Cool. I'm not a donkey just yet.
Right. So, I mean, my journey, in entrepreneurship came. I mean, bro, I was the cat in 7th grade selling Jolly Rancher lollipops out of my life.
That's me too. What? Yes, sir. Yo.
Hey, bro, like quick thing. In my opinion, if you weren't selling candy in school, bro, you ain't really an entrepreneur.
Right. That's facts, bro. That's facts, man. Yo, I used to have a second book bag, man. Ain't nobody know about that. If you only taking one book bag to school, you ain't about that business.
You ain't about that business, man. Like, bro, I wasn't doing no work. Couldn't turn in no assignments, but I had them Jolly Rancher lollipops in my locker for sure.
Yo, you was more dedicated to me, man, because I was paying attention in class. class, but I did have people tap me on the shoulder like, yo, can I get a Snicker? Like, yeah, let me grab my bag. Yo, pass it back to him. Give me the money. We good.
Listen, man, I was like, look, like, you know, and I did pretty well in school, but when it came to like certain things, I was like, bro, I can do this differently. Like, you know, in math, I would actually like not fail math, but I would be, you know, I'd be like average C, D student in math, end up going to summer school and acing summer school, right?
Wow.
But the reason that I was going to summer school is because my audience was at summer school. The cats that was coming to school with a little bit of bread to buy lollipops, they was at summer school, right? So I'm like, I can stretch this income out, right? So fast forward, I'm in the military like 2003, 2004. Got into multi-level marketing. That was my first kind of introduction into entrepreneurship as we know it right now is, you know, it's multi-level marketing. I don't know if you remember prepaid legal. It's Legal Shield now.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. So was doing that for a little bit, you know, successful to a point. Most people, you know, only about like 10% of people actually do well in multi-level marketing, if not less. And that was the first time that I really made, you know, that income plus my income from the military. That was the first time that I really made, you know, six figures or whatever the case may be.
Oh, you was getting it in.
Right. So over the course of my entrepreneurial career, bro, I've been in and out of the six-figure earning bracket, you know, several times. And what I found is every time I earned that income, I also lost it. You know what I'm saying? Like I, you know, my relationships were horrible. My relationship with money was horrible. You know, and honestly, if I'm being honest, it affected my attitude in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? And so what I started to realize around the time I got to like my late 20s, what I started to realize is in order to evolve my life, it's not the money that I need. I need a better attitude about the money that I'm earning. Here I am. God has put me in a position to be able to do something different, to be something different, to have something different. And I'm basically, you know, taking it for granted because I'm not evolving as an individual. Right. So every time I would earn, you know, pretty good money, I would also subsequently lose it shortly thereafter. So of course, if you continue to go down the same cycle, eventually, if you stop long enough to look within yourself, you can identify what's wrong. My grandfather used to say, you know, if you look at a situation long and hard enough, you can find your role in it. And you can find out the solution to your issue. And the solution to my issue was I needed to dedicate myself to my own personal growth. And bro, the moment that I started to do that, I became a better father. I became a better leader. I became a better business owner. But it didn't start with the money, right? It started with me making a commitment to evolve myself, right? And I think that's what a lot of people miss.
And with that in mind, can you take us back to an experience that you had that made you realize like, yo, my attitude has to change? I know you mentioned it, but was there something specific, a specific event or something that went wrong in your life that really woke you up to the fact that, yo, man, I gotta fix this?
Yeah. So 2012, right? I leave the military, right? I end up spending a couple years living with my father. I'm in like my mid-20s, 23, 24. And then I end up going to college, right? So I'm 24 years old. I'm going to college. Of course, I'm one of the older people in college. Shout out to Florida A&M University, Tallahassee.
Shout out.
Right?
Yo, HBCU, baby.
HBCUs all day long. And so, you know, I got a little bit of money. And so I leveraged that money into doing club promotion. Me and two of my cousins started a, club promoting company.
Okay.
And so now I got a little bit of bread. I got the nice
Mm-hmm.
clothes, polo from head to toe every day. Of course, the young ladies, taking a look at me, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. And so now I'm feeling myself, to be quite
Right.
honest, right? I'm 24 years old, like I'm the
You
man,
feeling like
right?
him a little bit,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, like I am him, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm the plug, get you in the
Yeah.
club, whatever the case may be. And so fast forward throughout that year, this is from 2009 to 2011.
Okay.
Late part of 2011, going into 2012, I realized, I end up finding out that I have a child on the way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
My son,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So my son is born in 2012, going throughout the year. And around about November, because of my
Mm-hmm.
son, I end up dropping out of school my senior year, right? So I
Okay.
moved back to Jacksonville. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville. And around about November, I get a picture
Mm-hmm.
from a friend, get a text message from a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, my friend was like, sends me the picture. And she's like, I think we need to look into this. Like, this little girl looks a lot
Mm-hmm.
like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I take her picture, I put it next to my son's picture,
Mm-hmm.
and bro, they basically look like identical twins, right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
going into December
Mm-hmm.
of 2012, or I'm sorry, 2013, going into
Mm-hmm.
2013, I now have two children 13 days apart. Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I'm in Jacksonville. I ended up going through, the job search, ended up,
Mm-hmm.
working at a very popular bank in Jacksonville or whatever the case may be. And their birthdays are coming up. Right.
Okay.
So my son's birthday is January 20th. My daughter's
Mm-hmm.
birthday is February 2nd. And so,
Okay.
of course, in order to go to their birthday parties, I got to take vacation time.
Right.
Right. So I go to my
Right.
son's birthday party. I come back. I got like, I don't know, 3 vacation days left. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I take the rest of those vacation days in
Mm-hmm.
order to go see my daughter. And
Right.
on the ride back home,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is not sustainable behavior. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If my goal as a father is to
Mm-hmm.
be present both financially and physically,
Mm-hmm.
I have to find another solution, because no matter what job I have, I'm probably not going to have the time to always be able to, do for them and be present the way I want to be present. Right. And so I ended up getting in a situation where I'm $14,000 in arrears in child support. I'm in between jobs on a regular basis. And finally, I get back into entrepreneurship, learning how to market online and all these different things. And again, bro, as the money started rolling in, here comes my attitude changing. Right. And right in that moment, I'm like, how is this going to look if I continue this behavior and call myself an example for my children? Right? It's not going to matter if daddy can provide me with everything I want, but he's a jerk when I'm around him. Right? It's not going to be any good if I have this money to be able to support my kids, but they see me mishandling their mothers. Right. And so right there in that moment, I had to make a decision to not only read all these books I've been reading, but actually start applying them. You know what I'm saying? John C. Maxwell on leadership, the psychology of money, right? Like understanding that I had to not only better my relationship with money, but better my relationship with myself. And that was the best decision that I ever made for me. You know what I'm saying? Because now my kids are 11. I got a daughter that lives in South Carolina. And, in the middle of the week, I can just go and watch one of her basketball games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it's about right there, man.
Yeah, son is right up the street. Go pick him up from school, come back, do the homework, whatever the case may be. And so that didn't happen because of money.
Right.
That happened because of me, sitting still long enough to realize that you don't have a money problem. You don't have a wealth problem. You got an Aundrae problem. And until you make the decision to fix Aundrae, right? Until you make the decision to fix yourself, everything around you will always be in disarray.
Yeah. That's spot on, man. And I really appreciate you for diving in and sharing
Mm-hmm.
your experience. And,
Mm-hmm.
going back to coaches who are feeling discouraged and unstuck, for everybody, it's not always the personal, and for other people, it's not always the business. And in some
Mm-hmm.
cases, it's a combination of the two.
Right.
Whether it's coaches struggling to find clients, whether it's them struggling to believe
Right.
that they are worth the prices that they want to charge,
Right.
whether they struggling with getting themselves out there and promoting. There's a lot of different things.
Right.
Even to your point, people that may be struggling with, am I qualified?
Yeah.
Like, can I do this? Can I
Right.
get people the results? A
Right.
lot of things that can get people, and in this case, coaches, stuck and feeling discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
And with that in mind, I want to get your take. What would you say are some strategies that have worked for you that other coaches can apply to get unstuck and to start feeling encouraged?
Yeah. So great question, bro. So, I mean, first and foremost, like just like you think about like your fingerprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your thumbprint, right? If I put my thumb in some ink and I put it on
Mm-hmm.
paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jay puts his thumb in some ink and put it on a piece of paper, right?
Yep.
Although we're both melanated, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're both men, right?
Yes.
I used to have hair. I don't anymore. I'm a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit envious of you, right? But we both, right,
Yes.
as black men, we both have similar traits. However,
Mm-hmm.
right, we may have some of the same
Mm-hmm.
favorite foods, whatever the case may be, but everyone on this planet has a different fingerprint.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
believe like one of the main factors to being successful in coaching and marketing is
Mm-hmm.
understanding your unique fingerprint on the
Mm.
world, right?
That's good.
Like I give you an example. Like I tell my clients all the time, um, I don't care about your business,
Mm.
right? Now, for all intents and purposes, bro, I
Mm-hmm.
am a business coach, right?
Yes.
I, help individuals increase their beliefs, their actions, and their habits so they can create the desired life that they want, right?
Right.
They can show up to the world with confidence. They
Mm-hmm.
can, flip the tables and not let life happen to them, but they
Mm-hmm.
start to have this confidence that they can start happening to life and take
Right.
things into, their own hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
That starts with understanding, your unique advantage. My unique advantage is I'm focusing on the person
Mm-hmm.
first, right? I think a lot of coaches try to coach the problem, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
they try
Yeah.
so hard to solve the problem, but
Mm-hmm.
they haven't dove deep enough into the person and
Mm-hmm.
start to unpack the things that are really, holding that individual back, right?
Right.
That's my unique fingerprint on the
Okay.
marketplace.
Yeah.
So, I recommend to anyone
Mm-hmm.
listening to my voice, understand or go through the process of learning what makes you unique
Mm-hmm.
in your space,
Mm.
right? There's a coach on my team that, her unique identity is
Mm-hmm.
like she is phenomenal with copy, right?
Yeah.
No matter what situation you bring to her, if it's
Mm-hmm.
messaging related, she
Yeah.
can help you to develop the proper message,
Right.
right? I have another coach that is, solely focused on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can he help you unpack your life problems? Yes, but his unique fingerprint is
Mm.
Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people, jump into, okay, well, life coaching is easy, so I'm going to be a life coach.
Mm.
But are you managing your own life? Like,
Right.
if your life is a mess, how you going to coach somebody else through their life,
Right. It
right?
don't work like that.
Yeah, if you're not a very good leader, how are you going to help somebody be a better leader, right?
Right.
And so I believe that the most important thing before you do anything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before you start running the ads, before you start, developing the offer, like before
Mm-hmm.
you start doing all those things, who do you want to serve?
Mm.
What is the biggest problem that they have that you can help them solve?
Yeah.
And what is the unique way that you approach that problem that's
Mm-hmm.
different from everyone else?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That is absolutely good.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, once they get themselves together, once they understand who they are and they're able to position themselves properly in the marketplace based on that uniqueness, then I'm sure they are going to say the challenge is, how do I get the clients? All right, like I got me figured out, but now I want them clients to come in.
Right.
So let's talk about your perspective. Why do you think many coaches tend to struggle with getting new clients and doing so consistently?
Yeah, for sure. Like, bro, you got a favorite artist?
You mean like painting wise or music
No,
wise?
like music wise.
Music wise? Yeah, man. Like I like, Tupac when you go back to the classics, Big,
Right.
Jay-Z, I like, all of those type of guys.
Okay. Why do you like Tupac?
Why do I like Tupac? I like Tupac because he was the first artist that introduced me to hip hop.
Okay.
I think that's the reason why I say him first. I don't necessarily think he's the best rapper, but when I go way back, man, and I think about the first time I ever heard rap, it was Pac.
Okay, for sure. Why do you like Jay-Z?
I like Jay-Z because of his lyrical style. Like, to me, the way that he is able to just be a wordsmith on the track is just insane.
Okay, for sure. And so if you're now, I'm going to do some assuming, right? If you're anything like me, growing up back in the day, you listening to these songs from Tupac or Jay-Z, and all you want to try to figure out is like, bro, how can I go to school and recite this track word for word, right? You wanted to learn the lyrics, right? And you wanted to learn the lyrics because the message, whatever message Tupac, whatever message Jay-Z was bringing, Jeezy, all of that, it resonated with you in some shape, form, or fashion, right? I believe the master key to attracting and converting more clients is understanding your clients' lyrics, right? Knowing their lyrics, that's messaging, right? Knowing the lyrics, knowing what they want, knowing their aspirations, knowing their goals, knowing where they currently are in their lives, right? Understanding their journey, because when you can understand their journey, you can start to create lyrics, messaging that resonates with them. And now, no matter what, they are going to follow you. As you get older, they're going to follow you. As you evolve, they're going to follow you. Bro, I'll give you another example. I've been paying attention to Usher's residency in Vegas. Right. So Usher's been doing this residency in Vegas for probably like the entire year. I don't know if he was doing it in 2022, but I know in 2023 he was doing it. Right.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the videos on Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be, there are people that grew up with Usher. You know what I'm saying? 18 years old. She likes it my way. I remember being in middle school.
I remember that, Jay.
I remember in middle school getting off the bus and running home so I could catch 106 in Park, right? Or TRL, Total Request Live, right? and just, Usher was taking over 106 in Park.
Yeah.
So fast forward, that was when I was like 18.
Right.
I'm 39. Usher is still selling out concerts with grown people that have been following him since they were teenagers, bro. Why? Because he understood the lyrics that he created resonated with his audience. So what if that was you talking to the coach, right? Talking to the service provider, the consultant. What if that was you? What if you developed a set of lyrics that basically served as like the Pied Piper, right? No matter what you said, you were going to attract the right people and they were going to follow you to the moon and back. I believe that's the master key that a lot of people miss. Learn. It's not about you. It's not about what you want to put in the world. It's not about what you want to say. It's about understanding what do your people want to hear. Back then, bro, we was brothers that was in love, bro.
Yeah.
We wasn't doing all that
Yeah.
fighting, knocking people out. Like, we
Right.
wasn't doing all that. We was
Nah.
trying to, hey, let me whisper in your ear, shawty. Let me,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So understanding what resonates with your audience and then continuing to sing that song. It's so interesting to hear, again, watching the videos from the concert, Usher not singing new songs, bro. He's singing the same songs that he was singing in 1999, in 2002, in 2010, right? He's singing the same old songs, and it's making him and has made him millions. Why? Because he kept singing the same songs consistently. Does that make sense?
Oh man, that makes a lot of sense.
For
and
sure.
here's what I'm sure a lot of the coaches out there are wondering, right? They're like, well, how do I figure out what the lyrics are? And this is where I know Aundrae is a businessman.
Right.
He has products and coaching services that take you through all of those steps. So by no means am I going to ask you to unpack all of that here today. But what I would love for you to do is to teach us or share with us one of the times that you made a mistake when it came to your messaging and how you were able to fix that. What strategy helped you to get it in line and be able to do everything that you just told us about now?
Ooh, that's good. That's good, bro. So I would say looking back on it, one of my biggest mistakes was when I first got into coaching. Of course, I'm hiring mentors and things like that. And I was given a blueprint to tell my story, my up, down, up story is what they call it. So basically you start at a place, whether you start in, at the high point of your life or at a low point of your life. And you start to kind of tell that story arc. And what I would do is I would start with the lowest point of my life, talking about being homeless, talking about, the two kids 13 days apart, talking about being, $14,000 in arrears and child support and all those different things, down and out. I would tell my rock bottom story, right? And then at the end, of course, I tell them where I am now. But what I realized is what I was attracting were the people that were still at rock bottom. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and
yes,
so
sir. Yo, I hope y'all listening.
So my enrollment calls would sound something like, okay, well, I understand that the price for your program is such and such and such and such, but but your story resonated with me. I'm down and out right now. I'm this, I'm that. So why don't you give me access to your program? And then when I make money, then I can pay you. I am where you were. So why don't you help somebody that
help a brother out? You know what they say.
That's currently at where you were. So what I had to start to do is flip that story on its side and stop speaking to people's current set of circumstances and start speaking to what we call their aspirational identity. Right. So I started telling my story based off of where I was where I was in relation to where I would like my target audience to be. You know what I'm saying? So are they at X amount of dollars per month? Are they fathers? Are they mothers? Right? Do they currently have issues with their own self-identity, whatever the case may be? Right? So I started telling the story in a different way. And when I started telling the story in a different way, I started attracting people who are actually on that arc, right? So instead of speaking to the people that are down and out, I'm now speaking to the people that, they've had some success, whether it be in career or in business. They're ready to level up. They understand the importance of investing in themselves. I'm not saying anything that is foreign to them. I'm saying things that they resonate with right now in their life, right? And they are starting to understand that if I am who I say I am, I can help them get from where they are to where they want to be. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to have a very vivid understanding of where your target audience is, where they want to go, and then bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be with the
Mm-hmm.
solution that you provide.
Yeah. Now I want to ask a clarifying question just to make sure that I understood you correctly.
Sure.
So when you made the change in your messaging,
Mm-hmm.
the way that I heard it is that you essentially move the starting line, right? In
Mm-hmm.
order
Mm-hmm.
for it to align with the entry point for where you wanted clients to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning you were there at the bottom where people that weren't making anything, but
Mm-hmm.
then you got to a point where, let's say, you were making $5,000 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like the starting point for the story is, are you at 5,000 and you trying to go above? Well,
Right.
I can tell you about like how I got to 5 and everything that happened before that, but I'm starting at the point of having at least this much in the bank, this much coming in, and how I want to go beyond. Is that accurate? Because that's how I heard it.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And you can even give another example. Instead of starting, right here where you're building your business from absolutely scratch all by
Mm-hmm.
yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I may be speaking about or speaking to the individual that has already built the business to a certain place by themselves. And now they want to focus on expanding their team. Right.
Okay.
Now they want to focus on making the proper decisions to be able to lead their team effectively. Now they may be talking about, instead of earning your first $10,000 a month, right? They may be talking about scaling from 6 figures to making their next 6 figures or their first 7 figures. You see what I'm saying? And when you get to different levels, and I know you know this, right? When you get to different levels, there's different level of problems, right? So what problem are you going to speak to? What problem are you going to solve? And then telling a story that is in alignment with that problem and the aspirations that the individual has.
Yeah. And with that in mind, I want to ask a question for the coaches out there.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, do you feel like it's more effective for a coach to begin telling the story and positioning their uniqueness at where they're opening the door to clients? So like using that same example, like they want people that are making at least 5,000 so that they know that they can pay them 1,000 or 2,000 for their services.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think it's more effective for them to position their message where it's what that client wants? Like in this case, they want to get to 10K a month, making 6 figures a year. Do you feel like it's more effective to approach them where they are at the 5K mark, or to focus in on what they want and where they want to go?
Yeah, I think it depends on the coach and the marketplace that they are serving. You know what I'm saying?
Better question, Andre.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they have to pick one of the two? Because I think sometimes coaches try to do both. Is it more effective to try to go after both or to just pick one of those?
Yeah, great question. I think that it is the most important to identify who you're going to serve and just rock with that one. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes coaches can stretch themselves too thin, trying to serve different markets, right? Trying to do different things for different people. Like all day long, we, at Climate Trash University, we serve coaches, consultants, and service providers, right? More importantly, we serve coaches, consultants, and service providers that are looking to attract more clients. Now, you can decide what more means, right? If you're at 0 clients and you want to get 1 or 2, hey, whatever, right? If you're at 20 clients and you want to get to 40 or 50, fine, right? But we have, on your birthday, on Jesus' birthday, like on everybody's birthday, every holiday, every day that ends in Y, we're helping coaches, consultants, and service providers attract more clients, right? And we do it through the same exact system, right? So to answer your question just a little bit more in depth, I think it's important to not only know exactly who you're going to work with and dedicate your time and your focus to that one person, right? But also start to systemize your process, right? What is the first step? What is the second step? What is the third step? How do you get them to the actual outcome? Right? Now you can package that system, and whoever, like each of those people that have the same issue, now you can work with, more than one person, because you're
Mm-hmm.
only focused on one particular problem, one
Right.
particular market.
No, that's good. So I
Yeah.
feel like you've definitely given some great strategies in regards to getting the messaging right.
Yeah.
I definitely am a proponent for getting clarity on not just who you want to attract, but it goes in line with what you were talking about, those lyrics.
Yeah.
When you know how to talk to the clients that you want to attract, it becomes a lot easier to attract new clients
Right.
because oftentimes it's a messaging issue. Like
Right.
people are cranking out, the ads, they're cranking out the content, the reels, they're doing all of this. But the one thing that's not happening is no clients are coming in. And usually that's a messaging problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say they fix the messaging problem, but for some reason, they're still struggling to attract new clients. What would you say may be the next issue that they need to overcome?
So if they have the messaging, but
Mm-hmm.
but they're still not attracting new clients. The
Mm-hmm.
next bottleneck could be, right? It
Mm-hmm.
could be, what is the system they're using to better frame their clients so their clients have more information about, what they do, who they
Mm-hmm.
are, and their level of expertise, right? So
Okay.
what I've noticed is even with the right messaging, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of entrepreneurs, and this doesn't, it doesn't matter how much money they are making, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
they rely on word of mouth, right? They rely
Yeah.
on all these different things, but they don't have an actual system that
Mm-hmm.
allows them to be able to attract their ideal prospect or their ideal
Mm-hmm.
client or their ideal lead on the front end
Mm-hmm.
and guide them down a process to where they're better educated, better
Mm-hmm.
informed, and better framed. Right.
Right.
So, I would recommend, depending on the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend having an actual client acquisition system, right? That allows your ideal client to learn more about you
Mm-hmm.
without you having to get on the line or without you having to explain yourself over and over again as
Yeah.
to what you do, right?
Right.
The second thing
Mm-hmm.
is to have like a database of interested individuals, right? In our
Mm-hmm.
world, we call that an email list, right?
Correct.
Um,
Yes, sir.
I remember when I was in multi-level marketing, one of my
Mm-hmm.
first books that I read
Mm-hmm.
was by Eric Worre, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the book was called Your First 90 Days in Network Marketing, right? And on like the 10th or 11th page, I ain't even gonna
Mm-hmm.
lie, I probably read 20 pages. But
Mm-hmm.
after I read this, I
Mm-hmm.
took it and ran with it. He
Okay.
told a story about his mentor, and his mentor used to tell him, every day in every way, no matter what you do, find a creative way to connect with someone, right? And to continue to communicate with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's nurturing, right? So
Yes.
having a list, right? Having an
Mm-hmm.
email list, having a database of individuals that have raised their hand
Mm-hmm.
before and
Mm-hmm.
said that they're interested in what you have to offer. I think that's very
Yes.
important. A lot of individuals in the marketplace don't understand that only 2% of the market is
Mm-hmm.
ready to do business with you immediately,
Right.
right? So there's
Right.
only 2%, no matter how big your market is,
Mm-hmm.
there's only 2% of people that
Mm-hmm.
are ready to see you on social media, go down a path to where they find out more about you,
Mm-hmm.
and then take out their credit card and buy from you, right?
Right.
We also see this in the grocery store all the time, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever walked in the grocery store and walked out without purchasing
Mm-hmm.
anything?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know why? Because
Yep.
Publix, Winn-Dixie, Walmart,
Yeah.
Target, they know that only a small subset of people that enter through their doors every day
Mm-hmm.
are actually going to purchase something.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but they also have those people on an email list, right? They
Mm-hmm.
also have
Mm-hmm.
those people, like they have different ways to be able to follow up with those people. So I would
Right.
definitely recommend, number one, having a client
Mm-hmm.
acquisition system. Number two, having a database, having a list of people that have said that they're interested in what you have to offer before, and continue to communicate with them via email, via your content, whatever the case may be, to keep them engaged and continue to give them calls to action in order to have them find out more about what you do, how you serve, and how they can invest in your offer, right? Invest in your services to help them with their problem.
Right there, man. I absolutely love it, Aundrae, because you're right. You need a system. You know, at some point, once you get the ball rolling and you got clients coming in, but you want more, like you mentioned, you need a client acquisition system. And definitely need to be capturing every type of person that could be a potential client. And that is where having an email list comes into play. And that's really the purpose of this podcast, right? We're focusing on how to help coaches to multiply their sales, land more clients using video, using emails, and using podcasts. And with that in mind, I want to kind of look at your business. Out of those three, which have you found to be the more effective for you and your partners when it comes to landing new clients?
Bro, email marketing by far.
Let's talk about it then, man. Let's
email marketing by far. And, you know, I somebody probably got indigestion as soon as I said that, right?
But bro, because they like, man, everybody talk about email. I still ain't got a list.
Man, look.
Better get on it.
Like, bro, for the last 10 years plus, we have emailed our audience every day. Yes, we do content, right? Yeah. But even in the content, we're leading them to our email list, right? They get a piece of value on the front end. They put in their name and email. They're not on our email list. And we email at least 2 times a day, right?
Wow.
I'm not telling you to email 2 times a day. Email once a day, right?
Right.
But, you know, having that constant connection to this day, bro, we talk to individuals that say, hey, I've been following you all for 6 years. I've been opening your emails for 8 years. You know, I've been on your email list for 3 years. And I thought to myself, anybody that can be this consistent via email has to be able to help me when it comes to attracting more clients. Does that make sense, right?
Oh, man,
people
it makes all the sense in the world, bro.
See that you actually do what you say, what you're telling them to do. Does that make sense? And so I would say by far, bro, is actually nurturing your audience and allowing yourself to look at marketing not as marketing, but as relationship building.
That right there, bro. That right there.
You know
that's what I'm all about, man. That's what I'm all about,
bro. As relationship building, like if you like, if you interested in a young lady, right? Or, you know, young ladies, if you interested in a man, you know what I'm saying? If that brother ain't hitting you with the good morning, right? If that brother ain't checking in on a regular basis, you gonna lose interest. You on to the next, right? Because not your focus, but your expectation is if they are interested, that they should be putting forth the work, putting forth the effort to show their interest and grow the relationship, allow the relationship to evolve. It's the same thing in marketing, right? You don't get the sale until the relationship is strong enough, right? Some people want you to find out who they are, and then, you know, they want to propose the same day. Right? But you wouldn't do that. If you walked into Starbucks, you saw a pretty lady and you was like, hey, you know, what you look nice today. You know, what's your name? What's your number? She give you the number and then you instantly drop to one knee and say, will you marry me? That lady is going to run out and call the police on you. Right? You got to be.
I ain't going to be mad at her.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. Right? But if you take that same example, and you apply it to marketing, we kind of do the same thing where we want somebody to buy immediately. And what they really want is for us to show that we're actually interested in having their business.
Facts, man.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing that I've noticed since I've kind of been more into like the marketing space over, I would say maybe the past 2-3 years, really kind of deep in this area is I see a lot of people prioritizing money and profits and totally ignoring, the people and the human
Sure.
element of it. And I'm just sitting there like, yo, I get it. Y'all killing it. Y'all making 30, 50, some of y'all 100K a month.
Yeah.
And those are crazy numbers.
Right.
But when you listen to them, it's like, yo, where's your love for the people? Like,
Yeah.
and not in the sense of like you would love them, but
Hmm.
in the sense of like you have their best interests at
At
heart.
heart.
You really want to connect with them. You want to
Hmm.
build relationship with them, and you're not just pushing another product.
Yeah.
But to your point, I feel like that also is a place to kind of come in and carve out a uniqueness.
Right.
And that's really how I've been able to position myself is like, hey, listen, I could come and write emails for your business for you as a coach and get profits, but I want to help you to really nurture the relationships
Right.
and build a community with the
Right.
people that are on your list. And
Right.
that ultimately will create the profits that you ultimately desire, right?
Right.
So yeah, man, you definitely speaking to me right now. Like it
Yeah.
definitely resonates with, I would say, the foundation that I stand on for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. I like the goal is to build customers for life,
Mm-hmm.
right? The goal isn't just to build customers for a season, clients for
Yeah.
a season. Your goal should be like when you attract the client, right? When
Mm-hmm.
somebody finally takes out their car and invests their hard earned money
Mm-hmm.
to get a solution to a problem,
Mm-hmm.
your goal you should be asking yourself, how do I make sure that I'm working with this person 10 years down
Right.
the line, right?
Right.
Because when you focus on that, just like a marriage, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
focus on that, you're going through all the tough times, you're going through the great times, you're going through the hard times, but you're doing it together. It's a partnership.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I totally agree, bro. Nurturing the relationship
Yeah.
actually increases the revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some people get into this business just to make money, right?
Right.
And this
Right.
isn't a money driven business. This is a service driven
Mm-hmm.
business. And the
Mm-hmm.
better you serve, just like at the restaurant, the better
Yeah.
you serve, the higher your tip.
Right.
You know
That's
what I'm
good.
saying?
That's good, man.
Yeah.
And you have dropped so many gems on the coaches today. Before we wrap up today, I just want to kind of look at your business, and kind of projecting going into 2024. What projects are you currently working on and hope to get completed by the end of next year?
Yeah, for sure. So, two things inside of Client Attraction University, we're definitely focused on keeping the main thing, which
Mm-hmm.
is our clients, right? Simplifying the process so that they can better understand not only how to attract clients, but how to
Mm-hmm.
continue to gain visibility in the marketplace. How do
Mm-hmm.
they position themselves in the best way to be able to build these service driven and highly profitable relationships, right?
Right.
So how we do that is just by keeping things really simple, bro. We're
Mm-hmm.
not trying to purposely confuse anybody. We're not trying to give nobody a runaround. We
Mm-hmm.
are focused on being present the very best way we can in order to serve our clients and potential clients at the highest level possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing coming into 2024,
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to be doing an event in Jacksonville, Florida, right
Okay.
here where I'm from,
Yes.
called the Increase Experience, right?
Oh, nice.
And the focus is going to be, like I said, I don't care about your business. The focus is going to be the evolution of the individual, right?
Mm, yeah.
Increasing their beliefs, increasing their habits, increasing their actions, increasing, the vision that they have for themselves, increasing their confidence, the confidence that they have to actually do the things, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
To overcome, past failures, past mistakes, all those things so they can be better business owners. They can be better
Love it.
executives. They can be better people. Because if
Yeah.
we're better people, we,
Mm-hmm.
obviously are going to be better in whatever area we operate in, right?
Right.
So those are the two things that, we're looking forward to and most excited about going into, 2024 and the rest of
Nah.
2023.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And with that in mind, right? We know business comes with its ups and its downs. We've talked about that. Are there any challenges that you're currently facing at this time that you're working through with your business?
Yeah, man. So that's a phenomenal question. I would. The biggest challenge right now is
Mm-hmm.
continuing to ask myself, how do we collapse time, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we make it a shorter gap between where individuals are and
Mm-hmm.
where individuals want to be? And
Mm-hmm.
personally, my thing is like singing a song that
Mm-hmm.
very few other people are singing, right?
Mm.
I'm singing a song about personal development.
Yes.
Nobody wants to hear about personal development, right? I'm singing a song about mindset. Nobody wants to hear about mindset. People want to
Mm.
hear about the money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? People want to
Right.
hear about all these different
Facts.
things. And so my biggest challenge right now that I'm boldly continuing to walk into is just
Hmm.
to sing that song louder. Right.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and, and, and to be the individual where, you know, sometimes you're just the odd man out and it's good to
Hmm.
be. Right. And
Yes. Yep.
so approaching business from that place of who are you as the business owner? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? How can
Hmm.
you better yourself? How can you build the skill of development and
Hmm.
development be the foundation for
Hmm.
everything else that you desire, everything else that you want in your life. So I would say continuing to navigate that, right?
Yes.
As we navigate life,
Right.
right? I tell my clients all the time, bro, like when you commit to something bigger than yourself,
Hmm.
all hell is going to inevitably break loose,
Mm.
right? And
Mm.
so the challenges that we face in life often either move us
Hmm.
closer to our goal or
Hmm.
take us further away from our goal, depending on how much it distracts us, right? And so
Yes.
continuing to be present with myself and continuing to be present in the marketplace to have a better understanding of the other things people go through when
Hmm.
they're not on social media trying to look like everything is okay,
Right.
right?
Right.
That's the biggest thing is getting people to open up to the point where they
Hmm.
can share what's really going on, and we can unpack that suitcase
Hmm.
so we can put new clothes in it for a better journey, right?
Right.
For a better trip, right? I would say that's the biggest thing right now. Great
I love
question.
that. Yo, man, I appreciate your transparency, opening up and sharing about, your businesses. You dropped so many gems on us,
Yeah,
so many strategies. And with that in mind, I'm sure there's some listeners out there, some coaches that are ready to put a client acquisition system in place.
yeah,
Can you tell them how they can work with you, how
for
they can
sure.
get in contact with you and show you some love?
For sure, for sure, for sure. So you can always reach me on Instagram. That's the best way to reach me. Instagram, Aundrae Aundrae for victory, Gaskin. Aundrae B Gaskin on Instagram. Hop in my DMs. I definitely, reach back out to you and we can, see how we can work together in order to get you up and going. Well, either up and going or up and
Mhm.
growing in
I
your
like
coaching
that.
business.
I love that, man. And
Yeah.
before we go, any last or closing words you want to leave to the coaches who are struggling with getting unstuck, feeling discouraged, or struggling to land new clients?
Yeah, man. Like if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, I want you to write down on a piece of paper and just think in your head. I want you to spell this word wealth, right? Because wealth is what we all want in some shape, form, or fashion. The wealth to break generational curses, the wealth to change and transform our lives. Like, and we think about wealth only from a monetary standpoint, but we don't think about wealth from an abundant standpoint. You can be wealthy in your relationships. You can be wealthy, in your parenting. You can be wealthy, in so many other things other than finances. So, write down or spell in your head the word wealth, WEALTH, right? Scratch out the W, scratch out the T. You're left with four letters, right? The H, the E, the A, and the L, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you put those in order, it spells the word heal,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just want you to know that you don't earn your way to wealth, right? You don't coach your way to wealth. You don't lead your way to wealth. You heal your way to wealth.
Mm.
The first step to real wealth creation
Mhm.
is healing.
Mm.
Healing from your past experiences, healing from your past traumas, and constantly and consistently making a dedication to be the best and most healed version of yourself every day. That is the foundation for real wealth. If you can do that, if you can start that journey today, I can promise you that 90 days from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, your life and you as an individual will be unrecognizable, right? So don't just focus on earning your way to wealth. Focus on healing your way to wealth.
Wow, I love that. Yo, Aundrae, man, thank you so much
For
for
sure.
coming on the show, dropping gems.
You
Before we
got
go,
it.
I just want to hand the mic over to you, man. Did you have any questions for me or any last or closing words that you want to leave us with?
Hey Jay, I just want to appreciate you, man, for the time. Like I said at the beginning, like bro, you reached out to me a while ago, and we had so many different, calendars and
Yeah.
different things, bro. It's such a joy to be able to connect with you, man.
Yes.
Love the work that you're doing. Tapped
Thank you.
into a few of the podcasts before. The way you are allowing yourself to be used in order to serve a market that most definitely needs this type of insight is
Yeah.
otherworldly, bro. So I just want
Wow.
to say from brother to brother, I'm
Yeah.
proud of you, dude. And
Thank you.
don't take your foot off the gas, bro, because this market most definitely needs a brother like you asking phenomenal questions that provide insight and context to the journey that people are on, bro. And you understand it better than anybody, man. So I just want to let you know
Wow.
I'm proud of
Wow.
you,
Thank
bro.
you, man. Yo,
And thank you for having me.
man, you put the Kool-Aid smile on my face, man. Undeniable, you know what I'm saying?
You dope dude, man.
And I really appreciate that, man. It was
Mm-hmm.
such an honor having you on the podcast. And man, if you ever want to come back and be a guest on the show, it would
For
be a
sure.
joy, man. And I just want to say thank you again for everything that you shared with us today. I
For sure,
appreciate you,
man.
bro.
Don't threaten me with a good time, man. Just let me know. I'll pull up.
Yo, honestly, man, I would love to have you, Marquel, and Sierra on the same podcast, man. I've talked to each of y'all individually and together. I already know that'd be a great time.
Say less. Say less. Let's set it up, bro.
Yo,
Let's
we
set
gotta
it
do that
up.
in 2024, man.
For sure. For sure. No problem.
Yeah, man. But thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you, bro.
For sure, man. Thank you. Anytime, bro.